Hi, everybody. I'm Rocco Nisivoccia, and I was a location manager for Little America.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adrian Knight. I was location manager on season 1, episode 8 of Little America.
Hi, I'm Lily Flaschner. I was location manager in Monterrey, Mexico for 000.
Hi, my name is Matthew Kania, and I was the location manager for The Plot Against America.
Hi, I'm Gianni Grazioli. I'm the location manager for 000 in Italy.
Hi, I'm Virginia McCollum, location manager for 000 in New Orleans.
3, 2, 1. Hello, and thank you all for watching. Well, I'm Paquita Hughes with the LMGI, and we are here today talking with our LMGI 2020 award nominees for the limited series Anthology television. These location managers have spent thousands of hours working, calling, driving, and striving to bring you the very best in Anthology limited series television. So I want to thank you all for being here, and congratulations on your nominations. I'm excited to dig in and figure out how you all were able to find all of these amazing locations. All right, so we're going to start with Mr. Rocco. So where are you calling in from? And
I am calling in from the Great Jersey Shore. We film Little America in Jersey, and I live in Jersey. And while we wait to get back to work, why not hang out at the Jersey Shore, right? So
that's great too. That's awesome. I was born in Puerto Rico by way of New Jersey. That's where I learned in Lakehurst. So
all right.
Welcome. Good to see
Thank you.
So just to get started, this series is about immigrant stories from all over the U.S. Yet most of it was shot in the state of New Jersey. So what did you think when you got the call to find all of these very specific locales?
You know, it's funny because it just had happened that the New Jersey tax credit had just passed. And now the flood of shows were coming back to New Jersey, which was great for me because I'm a resident of the state. And it was a really great, to do a show that's, you know, okay, set in Patterson or set in Newark is one thing. Little America was set around the world, everywhere except New Jersey. You know, and even if it was the United States, it was so far away from New Jersey, it was on the other side of the country. So it was just a great opportunity to really explore the state even more and really go in depth of what we could actually offer here.
So with that being said, because I get that, I really do understand that. So what was the most challenging assignment or the hardest to find and the one that kept you up at night?
All of them? Is that a good answer? No, because this was an anthology series, so each episode was a brand new director, a brand new cast, brand new everything it was, except for myself, my co-manager Mike Hartel, and my production designer who I worked with, Amy Williams. So every single one was new. So what kept me up at night was the new script, was the next script. You know, it was just the beginning of the next one. What's the director going to be like? What's the cast going to be like? We got to find Nicaragua. We got to find Indiana. We got to find Ohio. We had to find all these exotic locations in New Jersey. And you would just get the next script and you'd be like, wow. It's like, okay, so we gotta find the cowboy. We got to find the baker. You know, we got to find all these special areas. So I mean, each one was a challenge that we were ready to take on, but each script after the first read, that night was the night that you stayed up. You're like, oh my God, how am I going to find this place? You know, so I don't remember one in particular. I just remember each one of the 4 or 5 that I did personally. I was just like, wow. I was like, all right, well, let's do it again now.
That's awesome. And speaking of the cowboy, which we love the story of the Nigerian student who chose an Oklahoma cowboy. How did you find that in New Jersey?
He was fun because as a location manager, I keep saying that I don't provide a place to put the camera. I provide a character in the story. And Little America was able to give 8 different characters as myself and Mike and Adrian did. So it was just fun. And he was the most fun because it was a Western. We had to find a Western. So we went north a little bit first and it was like, this is too hilly. This is too bumpy. And then we did more and more research and we found one of the only like real live rodeos still in New Jersey, which is Cowtown, which is almost to the border of Philadelphia. That's how far you went down New Jersey to get it. And so once myself and the director and producers all went down there, we all just fell in love with the space. I mean, they use a lot of it in the trailer too from the cowboy because a lot of those horses running and everything, all of it was real. There was no CGI in that. All those horses flying, and I forget the gentleman's name, but the person who owned the ranch and Cowtown who ran it, he had all those horses. It was just, we would drive the van and be like, this is incredible. Like, how do we get a shot here? Okay, down the motorcycle with the drone. Can you get all these horses to run? Sure, no problem. Get the horses to run. You got it, And he did it, and it was amazing. It was a lot of fun with that one.
Well, amazing job, amazing work. And just one last, add-on is, did you have a particular favorite location, since you were all over New Jersey and you seem to have known New Jersey very well?
Yeah. So no, I think I got to go to the Cowboy again. Just finding Cowtown was just, and my daughter was into horseback riding at the time, and it was just, it was just so special to find that area, and you're like, wow, this exists here. And then we did and then also in Patterson was a great one too as well. We had to find was it Nicaragua? I think we had to find that. And my scout was looking at chicken coops and everything, and he's FaceTiming me, and he turned, and we found this old fish market. And I'm like, turn. I'm like, oh my God, that's it. And it was this old, beautiful, it was a story of the baker, I believe it was. It was an old, beautiful, had the architecture above you, had the little sky mall it was. It was just run down in the middle of Patterson, just kind of a little forgotten little area. And we turned that into that whole landscape, and it just looked amazing at the end.
Man, props to you on that one. Now moving on to Mr. Adrian Knight. Oh, Canada. Hey, so let's talk about that. You worked on an episode that could not shoot in New Jersey. And
That's right.
So why did the production end up coming to Canada? And where are you calling in from?
Well, I'm calling in from Mont Saint-Hilaire, which is where I live, but the photo backdrop is actually the former American Pavilion at Expo 67 on Ile Sainte-Hélène in Montreal. We actually shot some of the episode 8 on Ile Sainte-Hélène. But it came to Montreal because of the travel ban, Executive Order 13780, that forbids certain people from certain countries from entering the United States. So that's why the show came to Canada.
Okay. And we were told this was a particularly sensitive and personal story. Can you explain that?
Well, it's based on all of the stories, I think, are personal to the people involved, obviously. And in this case, it's based on Shadi Ishmael's life. He was a Syrian refugee who currently lives in Boise, Idaho, where the show ends. And so it's based on his life and his plight and the difficulty that people can face when they try to live out their dreams.
And knowing that you reside in Canada, not doing much scouting, I assume, in America, how difficult was this for you to find these locations that are all, U.S. based in Canada?
It wasn't too difficult in as much as we share a lot of sort of architectural heritage to a certain degree. The neighborhood where we shot the Boise scenes, well, actually there's 2 different neighborhoods, but it looks like it's all in the same area. That's an area actually that we rarely ever film up here in Montreal, but it seemed to work out pretty well, I think. I don't know if it worked for the viewers, but one of the challenges, of course, was finding Syria and Jordan in Montreal. But ironically, it's one of the few times in all the years I've been a location manager that the locations I presented up front for the initial pitch before they even decided to come to Montreal, every single one of those locations we ended up using, and then a few more. And so that was really something, but it doesn't really speak to any particular talent. It's just that there's only so many places you can shoot that look like Syria, you know what I mean, in Montreal. So, but it worked out really nicely, and that was nice.
Right. And just to wrap it up with you guys, because both you guys did an amazing job on an amazing series. So once again, good luck on your nominations. And Adrian, just to part with you, I just want to know, was there anything that you, like anything particularly that was not challenging, but that you really enjoyed, that was fun for you, like Rocco? Rocco had a good time with the horses.
Well, I mean, the whole show in and of itself was good fun. It was such a challenge for all of us. It came really quickly. We had to prep it really quickly. We had many locations over only I think 7 or 8 shoot days, if my memory serves. So every part of it was fun, was a challenge. Perhaps one challenge that was a little scary at first was I don't know if you remember the shot when he when Rafik arrives in Boise, he lowers the postcard and then he sees like a park sign that says, "Welcome to Boise, Idaho." Well, I think 1 or 2 days before we shot that scene, the city of Montreal had gone into that park unbeknownst to us and without telling us, even though we had a permit and everything. And they cut like 5 or 6 old growth trees that were in the park. So we necessarily panicked because that was only one part of the day. Like there was many other locations to shoot that day. So luckily enough, the framing allowed for, you know, the fact that the trees were no longer in the park that we had chosen. But it was a scary moment for sure.
And you know, the one more thing I'd add with Adrian too as well, it was New Jersey, it was Canada, and Florida. We had to find
I
a
didn't
cruise ship. Yeah, I had to find a cruise ship right at the beginning of the show. We had to keep a cruise ship in our mind. And for about a month or two, every weekend I had to go to Florida because that was the one that we found to scout it and to tour it. And they were incredible, these people too, as well to work with. So between Canada, New Jersey, and Florida, we went back and forth to the Bahamas. We were on a cruise ship for a full week. The crew for the episode of the lottery, I think it was called.
Wow.
So 3 places that show took us.
Oh, nice. Well, that sounds
Cool.
like so.
Our duty.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. So now we're moving on to the plot against America. We're going to be speaking with Mr. Matthew Kania. So where are you calling in? Where are you zooming in for us today?
My lovely home in New Jersey, actually. I'm in our little small office that we have off the entrance of the house. So this is where when everything started recently, this is where I was doing all my Zoom calls when our job ended during the pandemic, and so it's the quietest part of the house, but not necessarily quiet. It's just the quietest.
We're so glad you can join us, and I'm glad you're staying safe.
Oh, thank you.
In your cave. So there are so many great wide exterior shots in New Jersey. For New York, one of the most striking is the hero home on the street that goes on forever. So how did your search actually lead you there?
We covered so much ground in New Jersey. We just eventually stumbled onto it. It was, you know, as Rocco mentioned, because of the tax incentive, we were all of a sudden able to go to this whole other area on the other side of the water. You know, usually our jurisdiction ended at the water, but now we actually have that whole section of Jersey, you know, that's within the zone to explore, and we covered so many neighborhoods. We started at where Roth grew up, and we ended up not too far, and a great neighborhood, great houses, a lot of them, you know, the right look and right distance from each other, distance from the curb, for what we needed to have all the kids and the whole neighbor and all the neighbors out there on the street.
Yeah, I noticed that. And another question I would like to insert just to piggyback on that is, because of the tone of the story, you know, the different religious values that the Jewish family holds against, you know, what the other community, did that take any type of, was that taken into consideration as you were looking in these neighborhoods? Like, because I'm not familiar with, you know, those type of, you know, in Jewish communities, if there's certain staples or nuances in those communities that you have to keep in mind to know, oh, this is a Jewish community. Were those things taken into consideration?
Definitely, there's some. I mean, there's synagogues in a lot of different areas of Jersey. So, you know, as far as the demographics of a neighborhood might have changed, the neighborhood that we ended up shooting at was not predominantly Jewish by any means. You know, and neither was the other areas where we did the commercial strip that was supposed to be their little section of Newark, and those demographics have changed over time. But you know, scenic department, art department, everybody comes in, and all of a sudden, as long as you have the bones there, the old houses and the old architecture, you know, it works.
That's good. And the famous diner scene where they sing away a potential hostile situation, was that a set or an actual location?
No, that was inside the Odeon, downtown Manhattan, when it was supposed to be a DC cafeteria type place that they had at that time period, and it's schedule-wise, I think it ended up having to be in New York. So we looked at a ton of places that were period, and that one just fit perfectly.
Okay, I was curious if it was a schedule issue or if you just couldn't, you know, lock it in.
Yeah, no, they it worked. It worked. They covered. I think we took down like 2 exit signs and a few posters, and right when we were there.
Go. And finally, standing at the Jefferson Memorial, depicting a somber moment of brewing social unrest for his family, was such a powerful moment on screen. What did it feel like in real life for you? And knowing the current situation of our society with the weight of social injustice, did that affect your scouting for this project?
There seems to be a lot of things going on right now, and they weren't going on to their intensity when we were scouting this, but things were already sort of feeling a little bit different. So I think, the people that were familiar with this book knew why it was so important, and, the scary things that it says about people not feeling welcome in their own homes and in their own neighborhoods and communities and countries. So, it was definitely something that we probably carried with us. Both the scouts, we read the books and going through and realizing where the story was going to be going toward the end. Yeah, definitely carried that with us. It was a dark story for hopefully, not so dark times.
True. It resonated with me. I could relate to a lot of what that family was dealing with and going through. It is very, very interesting. It was a very interesting experience to watch that. So congratulations again on your nomination.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to move on to Miss Lily Flaschner. Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias.
And where are you calling in from, Miss Lily?
From Mexico City, from my living room at home.
So glad.
Like we say in Mexico, mi casa es su casa, so welcome.
Gracias, muchas gracias. So this series, 000,
Yes.
is about the shipment of cocaine from Mexico to Italy. How did you decide to film in Mexico where it would be safe?
Well, the director and the producers always wanted to film in Monterrey, Mexico, because that's where the book is written from, by Saviano. So I scouted everything in Monterrey at the beginning, since the beginning, some things in Mexico City, but mostly in Monterrey, because the script asked for it. Yes, you had to see the city, you had to see everything. And Monterrey is a very special city. But then for budget reasons, they also decided to film in Mexico City. So another location manager came in. So and I stayed in Monterrey.
Okay, and just to piggyback on that, is Monterrey known as a safe city? I know we had unfortunately we had an incident with a location scout who was scouting in Mexico, and it ended very badly. So I was curious as to the certain areas of Mexico that aren't considered.
You always, like in every big city, you have to be careful where you go, no? And we always get the police support. So if we are shooting in places that are a little like not the safest ones, they're always there with you to protect you. No, the incident that happened with the guy he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like those things unfortunately happens. No, but Monterrey, well, it was very safe. I even went to look for shanty towns there. And you get in touch with the people there, with the drug dealers there, with the people that do like sell the drugs there. You get in touch with them, and they go with you to look at the places, so you are safe. Yeah, you get their protection if you talk to them and explain them what you are looking for, and it's going to be a movie, and maybe some of them can be a part of it. So they protect you. So it was very, very safe.
That reminds me of how they do a little bit of the filming for the Snowfall series. Same concept, where they go into a neighborhood that's kind of known as unsafe, but they integrate with the community and allow those people to kind of, escort them, be there for them. So that's really good to know. I'm glad you guys were safe out there.
Yeah,
so,
very safe.
With 000, there's an amazing foot chase scene through the cramped streets and the rooftops of the poor part of the shanty town. So where was that, and how did you get to do that?
That was made in Mexico City. That you would have to ask the other location manager, Juan Pablo, which couldn't be today. That was in Mexico City. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Also in some shanty towns around Mexico City, which was a great scene. Yeah.
Okay, well, wonderful, wonderful job. Glad you guys were able to do that safely and give us those beautiful, beautiful, amazing locations.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be moving on over to Italy. Buongiorno, ciao, ciao bello. This is Gianni. How are you?
Oh, ciao.
And so we heard it's a little rainy where you're calling in from. Let the folks know where you're calling in from.
It is strange because in Rome the weather in this time usually is very good. It's the best weather in the year. It's so strange.
Yes, I lived in Italy for a short period of time. Actually, Sicily, and the raining was so bad it flooded like half the area was bad flood. So I understand. But
Yeah, there is a roof.
Okay, so jumping right into it, there is conflict, to say the least, between the older and younger generations of the Italian crime family. So what were you asked to look for to define each?
Well, our art director, Paghi, to characterize Stefano, the Domino's grandson, had in mind something of luxurious and extremely modern, something over the top, modern, to emphasize the power and the role of Stefano in the mafia system. We proposed to him a super modern villa that had all the required peculiarities, all kinds of comforts, and above all that was logistically located on the top of the Reggio Calabria city. This house dominating all the territory. In the other hand, the elder Domino lives in the mountains of Spromonte, away from Orleans, hidden in a bunker or in a ghost town among shepherds and goats. He is the traditional version of the mafia boss, and just like classical head of the 'Ndrangheta families, we keeps low profile. Exactly the different of the younger.
Oh, that's interesting. You seem to have a nice, vast knowledge of the mafioso. You have to pull from that to do that. You have like mafioso knowledge.
Mafioso, yeah. But this is the story for the Italians, no? Mafia, mandolino, pizza.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The pizza, I do remember. They can make a pizza out of anything out there. So speaking of that different system of how you mentioned the Italian village that was in the hills, and the head of the family, how you lived in the underground bunker. That makes for some fun scouting. Tell me how that scouting went for that underground bunker. How were you able to? Is that a common spot, or was that a special find?
No, we go there with some people of Calabria, very special people.
Okay.
After 2 years, I found them again because they are lovely. Often the people think these people are mafioso, but are very, very, very lovely people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. And we're going to move on over to the next teammate of 000. We have Miss Virginia McCollum. She was a location manager out of New Orleans. Hello, ma'am, and tell us where you're calling in from.
Hello. I'm calling from or joining from New Orleans. I'm at home, so it's the home office, as it were.
Nice. Get to be comfortable.
No,
all right, Miss Virginia.
Really, I hadn't even met you guys, so nice to see your faces.
Everybody's saying hi. Matthew was saying hi earlier before you went out.
Sorry.
He's like, hi, Virginia, and then you were like gone.
Animals, they're all over me.
Priorities. All right, so now your part of the story dealt with the shipping family. Okay, so tell us about the house you found in the French Quarter of New Orleans.
Wow.
I do. I have to just correct you. I thought I sent an email, but my apologies. The house is not in the French Quarter. It's in what's called the Garden District, which is in the American sector of New Orleans, which was developed in the late 19th century. They are rather grand mansions, and this one sat on St. Charles Avenue. I don't know if people know the history of the mafia in New Orleans, but there was always mafia in New Orleans. And so a lot of the underpinning storylines are actually, fairly accurate. And it was perfectly believable that a family that had been here for some generations had grown and become respectable. And they definitely wanted to have that aspect. And I think New Orleans was the control to the chaos that was to come later. And we looked at several large mansions, but I think it wanted to feel grand. It wanted to feel imposing, an immediate read that it was New Orleans. And that I believe we made good use of the streetcar and not in a, cliched way. And the house, though imposing on the outside, had a beautiful parterre garden that could be built up. That was very important to Stefano. And it also had architecture that had giant capitals that you could see out of the bedroom window that looked like a fractured architectural drawing, and he fell in love with that. And I really think that was a thing that in addition to it feeling imposing on the outside and really on the inside, very family, because it was a family, and they were a close family, if slightly eccentric. And we really used all of the house. Almost every bit of the house played, and it was, for production purposes, it was on the outskirts of the Garden District, which is very difficult to film, and it allowed us to film later into night because many of the scenes took place at night. So that it was a perfect solution, and it worked very well.
Good, that's amazing. And so, with that being said, what do you think that you brought to the table that thrilled the director?
I spent a lot of time listening to Italian, long conversations.
Va bene.
I have a good knowledge of the history of the city, and I have a pretty quick read on a good visual sense. And I think Stefano and production designer are very visual, and Stefano also has an incredible sense of audioscapes, which I've always loved in all of his work. And I really wanted to do this project because I've loved all of his previous projects, and I just think he's a very talented guy that has a great vision. And it was a really exciting thing to work with someone who's so visual.
So what was your favorite find?
Oh my. Well, I really loved where we filmed in the French Quarter. It was a place that was called Two Jacks, and it really was a very old, one of the old institutions of New Orleans that really dated from the period where the mafia was pretty active. And it's no longer there. It most recently closed, and it has been part of our landscape for generations. It's just an incredible location too, because there's a beautiful old standing bar. And then on the other side, it's a white tablecloth mirrored room and, a galley kitchen, which is serving a whole restaurant. And it just really lent itself to the atmosphere, I think, of the characters and of the scene. And again, gave us New Orleans.
Well, you were truly talented, and I appreciate your expertise. It really showed.
Thank you. We had some good teammates here. I'm sorry I didn't get to spend more time with them.
Yes, all you guys. You just rocked it out. So thank you, Paul. Once again, congratulations on your nomination. Thank you so much to everyone for being here. So be sure to tune in and discover this year's winner by viewing the LMGI's 7th Annual Award Show on October 24th at 2 p.m. So get your tickets now at the website locationmanager.org, where Isaiah Mustafa will be hosting. Spike Lee will be honored with many more exciting guests, I'm sure. So if you're a member, check out the next issue coming of The Compass. And of course, we will see you at the website. This is Paquita Hughes for the TV Awards Committee saying, see you next time, be safe, and happy scouting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.